everybody. So we are the Hallmarkies podcast, and we are so excited to be here. I am Rachel, and we are here to do a special bonus episode interview, and Amber's here.
Hi, everybody.
And we are talking to one of the queens of Hallmark podcasting. We are talking to Marisa Serafini, who is the queen of the Hardies over at Afterbuzz. And we're so excited to get to know her better.
Thanks so much for asking me, Queen. I think that's too regal of a title.
No, it's the appropriate title.
And so we like to ask our guests to introduce themselves and to just give us a little bit of idea of how you got to where you're at and what interests you to pursue your career that you currently have.
Yeah. So, in high school, basically to sum it up, in high school I did a lot of theater, musical theater. I'm getting the behind the scenes type of experience, and I love just seeing so many people coming together and making a big production, and I thought that was really awesome. And those same foundations translate over to film production and television production. So in high school, fortunately, I was like, yeah, this is what I would like to do. So when I went to college, I went to Illinois Institute of Art and got a degree in filmmaking. And
oh wow.
And that covers a lot of television, film, just the production aspect. Bachelor's degree in digital filmmaking and video production. And then, my first job out of college was actually Afterbuzz TV, which deals mostly with podcast and audio.
Mm-hmm.
Ironically, I had a degree in film. I knew some things of audio because, audio and film go hand in hand, but I knew more of the filmmaking and not much about the audio making. And so getting into Afterbuzz taught me a lot about iTunes and how different audio formats and how they all get dispersed throughout the internet in different ways. And then I also learned hosting, and never in my life did I ever think I'd be in front of the camera. I got a degree behind the camera, not in front. And then I came to Afterbuzz and I saw all these people talking about their favorite shows in depth and character development, story writing, and all that. I was like, I could totally do this. This is what I talk about every single day, And then it was actually my producers, Phil Svitek and Kevin Undergaro, who is the founder of Afterbuzz TV, it was their idea. They're like, well, Marisa, film, television, why don't you host a show? And much to my dismay, I was like, what? You want me to talk? Like, yeah, you just talk about it like a regular conversation. And then I started on the Glee after show. Mm-hmm. Love Glee, love music. There's that musical love that I have. And started doing that. And then the next year I added more shows to my hosting roster. And then I just have a bunch of after shows under my belt. And then, I've always loved Hallmark throughout my teenage years. And I got more into Hallmark on a more consistent basis for the last probably 4 years. And then, found When Calls the Heart. Decided to do When Calls the Heart Afterbuzz TV after show. And
yeah, there you go. Rest is history.
And yeah.
Is it hard for you to turn off your filmmaking, film school brains? But I mean, it's not like these are the most like Oscar caliber made movies ever. Is it a little hard for you to kind of turn off that brain side of you?
Yeah, sometimes I do. But when I go to the movie theaters, I have a more critical mind because I know what certain elements to look for. But when I'm watching something simple on television like Hallmark, I'll notice some things like maybe there's an ADR issue or there's a weird edit in a cut. Like I'll think about it for a brief second, but then immediately move on. So it doesn't take me fully out of the movie. I'll recognize it, but it doesn't ruin it for me.
Sometimes Rachel lets it ruin it for her. She's the meanest. She's like, the lighting is weird.
But not as much for Hallmark, but I did struggle with the Up movies. We watched some of those at Christmas, and some of them were just really bad as far as the sound, the lighting, to the point that I was like, man, Hallmark is legit. They got really good production values.
Yeah, and there are some Hallmark movies that are really well done.
Yeah, they really are.
And it's amazing when you think about the turnaround time on a lot of these projects where they, they're filming mid-December and it's out on your TV January 13th or something.
Yeah. I know. I've actually interviewed a couple Hallmark people, who were promoting Hallmark movies, and I asked them, when did you wrap this? They're like, oh yeah, like 2 weeks ago. I just came back. Like, what? And it's airing tomorrow? So it's amazing. I'd love to learn their turnaround production for a full movie, and like getting the acting, the filming everything, editing together. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's shockingly, because we did a preview show in October. We'll do it again this year, and it felt like fake news because there were so many things that changed from just the time we did the preview show, and things like Christmas Next Door, which I actually ended up really liking. I mean, that thing was going to be about a divorced dad who gets his kids for the weekend, and and then all of a sudden it's like your Jesse Metcalf vehicle, and I mean, it was completely different.
I remember that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just funny. There were a lot like that, but.
And I love how sometimes last minute the title changed.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But I think Candace Cameron Bure's Switched at Christmas was called Sister Swap originally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
they usually change it worse though. Like for instance, they had I think that
Mr. Christmas.
Oh yeah. We were not a big fans of the Perfect Christmas Present. It was not our favorite.
The name Mr. Christmas was way better than the Perfect Christmas Present, and they changed it, and I was so mad.
Yeah. And I think that I think the Christmas Shop was way better than Sharing Christmas. That's just so bland, Sharing Christmas, but what do I know?
Who knows why they make these choices? Do you know, Marissa?
Well, I think, and because I did cover all 33 of them on my show, I noticed with all the titling, it has some Christmas elements to it, like Sister Swap. That's not very Christmassy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, maybe, but it's a lot of times it's play on words for Christmas Eve type of.
Yeah.
So I get that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you said that you had always watched Hallmark movies. Do you have any that you kind of grew up really particularly loving?
Oh, I mean, there was one. I'm trying to remember. I think it's an old one with Patricia Heaton.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's A
Town Without Christmas.
Yeah, I was a teenager when that came out.
Yeah,
and every once in a while that comes on every year. I'm like, oh, here it is.
Yeah.
I do love. So I'm trying to think back to the old ones, or older for me, quote unquote.
Yeah, they're probably my favorite because I like the old ones.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is Hallmark, but Christmas Shoes. That Hallmark?
Oh, your big Christmas shoes.
That is Hallmark, right?
Is it? I think it's Lifetime. I thought it was.
It might be Lifetime. I might get confused because a lot of different networks do television shows, so it might be.
That's one of the sad ones. I love November Christmas. That is one of my favorites, and that one's a sad one also. There are some of those the weepy Christmas movies that you have. I love Most Wonderful Time of the Year. And one of my favorites is Trading Christmas. Have you ever seen that?
I've heard of it. I'm trying to remember if I have seen it, though.
You should check it out. Is
it Faith Ford in that one, Rachel?
Mm-hmm. Faith Ford, Tom Cavanaugh, and it's just super charming.
And a baby Andrew Francis.
Yes, that's true.
Okay, I'm putting that in my list.
Gabriel Miller. It's really fun.
It is quite a good one. And from the rough era of Hallmark movies, 2006, 2010, where they were not quite sure if they wanted to be just super sad or super romantic.
Yeah.
Before they split channels and they were like, okay, we've got this.
Didn't they split channels 2010 around?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right when they split the channels, I think they were like, okay, now we know what tone we're trying to get for the movies.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the ones between 2006 and 2010, I think, are a little unbalanced because they were just trying to do too many things in each movie. There are some gems like Trading Christmas, but.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. And they're also definitely not G-rated. They're not ours or anything, but they're definitely a little more mature than what they're doing currently in content. Like you'll watch things and be like, oh my gosh, that's a person's back, or oh my gosh, they're having
they're kissing and it's not the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, they're not actually the near kiss. Like
oh, so many near kisses.
So many, right?
Marisa, how do you feel? Yeah, how do you feel about that? The like apparent policy that they can't kiss until the very end.
Well, I mean, there are some Hallmark movies where they do kiss in the middle. It's like
mostly old ones, though.
Yeah, when they do kiss in the middle, it's around the 50-minute mark. But I think it's just like you gotta wait to the end, that build up.
Yeah.
Next to the end, and because that's the moment we're all waiting for. So like I get it that they push it to the end.
Yeah.
There are some Christmas movies where it's mostly the ones where it's like they know each other already and then they meet up again.
Yeah.
And like they rekindle the old feeling. So yeah, if you're gonna meet somewhere in the middle of the movie, you're gonna kiss again. Sure. Yeah. I'm for it.
See? Yes. Sign our petition to let them kiss more.
Yeah.
So you covered all of the films, the holiday films this last year. What were some of the highlights in your opinion?
Ooh, I loved, oh my gosh, there's so many. And there was 30. My favorite one was Maggie's Miracle.
Oh, that one's sweet.
I mean, I love the book, and fantastic. And that movie just held up so well. And I love Joe Wagner.
Yeah, she's so great.
All her stuff. Yeah, she was awesome. That was like my favorite one. Also loved Christmas at Holly Lodge.
Yeah.
The scene in Maggie's Miracle where they you don't get a lot of like ask on a date scenes, oddly enough, in Hallmark, and I just loved that scene where he's like, "What are you doing Friday?" He's like, "I don't know. I have a date Friday with a cafe owner / tutor."
Yeah, I love the moment when they were in the kitchen and she's trying to cook.
Yes, that was cute.
Give her a hard time. It's like, you keep that up, you're not going to eat it at all.
Watch any of the other Hallmark shows, or are you just into When Calls the Heart?
I do watch Chesapeake Shores. I covered the after show for that as well.
Okay.
I watched a little bit of The Good Witch. Admittedly, I haven't seen all of it. I've seen a lot of the movies. I really haven't watched the television show on a regular basis. But yeah, and I think I watched a few episodes of Cedar Cove, but mostly When Calls the Heart and Chesapeake Shores.
Yeah. So on Chesapeake Shores, who is your favorite kid? Well, the
O'Briens.
Oh, the O'Briens. Oh my gosh, I love Amelia Ullerup's character, Bree.
Yeah.
Because she's witty, she's smart, she's a book reader, she likes to write. I was like, yes, girl, I feel you.
Favorite is Connor, because I'm team Andrew Francis, and
Rachel loves Andrew Francis more than is probably okay.
I noticed that you've mentioned him twice already.
Yeah. So
if Rachel could have a Hallmark friend, it would be Andrew Francis.
That's a good choice.
So yeah, I mean, I'm curious are you going to cover the season 4 of the Good Witch out there on AfterBuzz?
We'll see if I have any other hosts at AfterBuzz who are interested.
Okay.
Out of our giant roster of like 350 current recurring hosts, only maybe 5 of us watch Hallmark.
Oh, yeah.
We or like watch Hallmark enough on a regular basis to talk about it. Like we do. And it's hard to find those people and find a time that works with all of our schedules. So we'll see.
So what do you like about podcasting or having these kind of discussions and things like is it like what's fun about it for you?
Well, it's fun. It's like I can nerd out as much as I want. But I can like go in depth with character development with someone else who also has an intellectual knowledge of character development. Growing up in a place where I come from is a really, really small town. When I talked about my favorite shows, everyone looked at me like, you are so weird. Why are you so obsessed with television? You know, like, why are you so obsessed about a show or a movie? And I'm like, don't you want to talk about it? So it's cool with AfterBuzz, you know, it gives me a platform to talk about my favorite things without someone else judging me.
Yeah.
Like, talk to other people about the same things, and it's really cool because I never had that growing up.
Yeah. You're like living in a Hallmark movie, going to the big city, but you gotta go back to the small town and find your high school boyfriend.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm from a very, very small town. When I tell people small town, I mean population 1,400, no stoplights. Like, I literally come from a small country town. So coming to LA, quote unquote Hollywood, you know, people are like, "What? Whoa, big things!" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure."
That's really cool.
So when you got 1,401 followers on Twitter, they were like, "Oh, the entire town!"
I know. I have more followers than I do people in my hometown. It's crazy. That hit me one day. I'm like, wow, yeah. All right, there's a bigger world out there.
That's funny. So let's talk about One Calls the Heart.
Yes.
Is One Calls the Heart your favorite of the Hallmark TV shows?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love Chesapeake Shores, but it's a whole. I love it for a lot of other different reasons, but One Calls the Heart just like makes me feel so happy at the end of every episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good feeling.
Why do you think they're able to do that? What do you think works about the show?
I think they really get universal themes and family dynamics, town dynamics, and just like how people interact with each other on a daily basis. I think they really get that. Some people don't like each other, but they still respect each other at the end of the day. Some people love each other and help each other out. And I think they created a seemingly ideal small town, and just the idea that people help each other, that's kind of rare to find nowadays. Yeah. People helping each other just for the sake of helping each other because they're a community. That's hard to find. And I think people keep going back to One Calls the Heart because they don't see that in their everyday lives.
Yeah. And so on the show, you obviously watch it, so you know all the characters. Mm-hmm. Is there any character that you feel like I like really identify with? Like, you know what? They get me. They are my audience surrogate. That is me.
Yeah. I always say I love Abigail. Mm-hmm. She always helps others before she helps herself. I love that. And she's always thinking about other people first. Mm-hmm. And you see it every single week where, you know, even last week's episode when she was helping Jack and Elizabeth talk to Jenkins and get their land back. And, you know, no one asked her to do that because she's just a good person. She knew something was wrong and she took the initiative to deal with it. And mm-hmm. I like the headstrong woman who has a moral sense and will actually have the initiative and be assertive to do something. I love that. Mm-hmm. We need more people like Abigail in the world. The world would be a better place.
Indeed. That is definitely true. We kind of tease a little bit because we feel like Abigail has superpowers. Yeah. That everything she does is...
She's a superwoman. And I also love her, too, because she's also a mother to an adopted kid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I personally am adopted. So, like, that also on a personal level because she's just a good person. I have loving parents who are like Abigail. So that's, I think, another reason why I love Abigail so much because I do have people like that in my life.
Feel about this season? Do you feel like it's been a pretty good season so far, or?
Yeah, it's very consistent because at this point last season there was a lot of ups and downs, and there was a dramatic episode in the middle where Jack left, and then this season it's like very happily consistent throughout, and I like mm-hmm. that. I really do enjoy that. We haven't really had a heart-wrenching moment yet in this season, so you know we're waiting with bated breath for that. But overall, like every episode has been very consistent. I like that.
Excellent. And so obviously you mentioned when you were talking about, you know, small town characters who don't like each other and things. There is, of course, the elephant in the room, Henry Gowen, who is the villain, we should say. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about Henry?
Well, I'm very open about how much I don't like him.
Aww.
Yeah, I understand. Like, he's so good at being so dislikable. So that's great for Martin Cummins. He's a good actor in that way. So he's doing a good job. And I met him at HFR. And I'm like, he's a cool person in real life. So, but his character it's like quite the antagonist, and he just keeps coming back. And he goes away, and then he comes back, and you're like, oh, he's back, you know. He has that kind of demeanor. But the thing that I don't like about him is like he's a grown man doing terrible, nefarious things to other adults and treating them like dirt, you know. And it's like that's no excuse to just be a bad person and do bad things. So I know this season 5, they're building a redemption story for him, but I'm like, no, that's earn it.
Yeah, you see, Amber is the queen of the underdog. She
I love Henry Gowen so much. Yeah, like he's maybe one of my favorite characters. I just love him.
I like him so much.
I don't know. I just feel like he's like a really interesting, damaged character that like I just want him to succeed. And like I can just see him like he'll try to do things, but then he'll just like sabotage himself because he doesn't feel like he's worth anything. So I just want him to succeed. He's like to me like a Damon from the Vampire Diaries or like a Pacey from Dawson's Creek, like somebody who just like doesn't feel like they deserve love, so they try whatever they can to sabotage it.
Yeah.
Self-destructive.
Yeah, self-destructive indeed. And I just root for him, and I just like want him to do well. And then he like lets me down, and I'm like, we can get back up, Henry Gowen. We can do it.
You're his biggest champion. That's great.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the Gowen Abigail storyline that they're trying to write?
Oh my gosh. I have been shipping Gowen and Abigail since like episode 1, season 1. Like her husband's dead, she's a widow, let's get married. Go for it, you two. I mean, really, how early on in our podcast did we say
this is true.
Henry and Abigail are my OTP. They are endgame for me.
Really?
Yeah. I pretty much.
I mean, you can disagree, I know, but like,
that's what makes it interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not even on a ship. I'm just on like an iceberg by myself, just shouting like, Henry and Abigail.
Well, I think it would be interesting because you have kind of the most angelic character with the most flawed character, and so it would be kind of interesting, or it could be at least. But yeah, I guess my favorite character. I don't know. I guess I love Opal so much. Anytime Opal's on screen, I'm happy.
To choose between Philip or Opal, who would you choose?
Ooh.
Tough call.
You're asking me? Or
yeah, you, Rachel.
Opal for sure.
For real?
Yeah, but I do love Philip. I guess we've seen, and I have all nieces, so I'm just a girl. I'm a girl person, little girl person. So yeah, but I love Philip too, so that sounded really mean that I said that.
How about you, Marissa? Philip or Opal?
Like I love both of them. They're fun. I think Philip has more dramatic storylines. So every time he's on screen, like I feel for him a little bit more because Opal, he's cute and she's like, not to sound terrible, but like she is very one-dimensional. I mean, she's a kid though.
Yeah.
And they're on screen to be like, oh, how sweet. You know, she's the ignorance is bliss kind of person. She hasn't been tainted by the adults or bad things in her life. And she has loving parents. Yeah. Philip has a more dramatic storyline and more dramatic background. So I find his character more interesting to watch.
Yeah, I can see that. They're both so cute. And I do love the Coulters. I love Rosemary and Lee. They're the best. So fun. And I definitely relate to Rosemary because I'm very extroverted, kind of like her. I'm not like Erin or Elizabeth at all, really. So I relate more to Rosemary.
She's fun. Very, very theatric and dramatic in her ways.
Yeah.
James loves her.
James loves her.
He loves Pascal. Like her as an actress, her character, Rosemary, like seriously, when I'm talking to him off camera, regular day, or on the phone or something, he'll bring up the most random excuse to talk about Pascal. It's funny. Like how did we go from like talking about bills to Pascal hunting? I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, did you love the wedding? Were you just like on cloud nine?
Oh my gosh, how gorgeous was it? It was gorgeous. I did love it. The whole reveal, like pulling back those silk curtains, and finally the reveal. I stopped tweeting for like a good 15, 20 minutes because I was just so enamored with the episode. It was gorgeous to watch. I loved it. It was everything that I hoped it would be. I'm not sure if it lived up to everybody else's expectations, but it was simple and yet beautiful.
Yeah. It was great. I felt, we felt that it was like, why did we have to have all the bill heist thing?
I know.
That was so unnecessary. We
could have had, 15 more minutes of them just standing around in the chapel in their outfits. But
or we could have had like an arc with Tom and Julie or something like that. Like, why did we need this bill thing? Yeah.
I talked about it on my show too, and I mean, it added to the heightenedness of anxiety. Like, I get that, but the problem is, it's such a forgettable storyline.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No one's gonna remember it, or even like people will remember it, but no one's gonna like pay attention to it because it got resolved so quickly anyway. So why even put it in?
Yeah. Everyone will remember it with derision.
Right. Well, I mean, it's the whole idea of losing the rings or not having the rings, but there are so many other storylines you could have written.
Yeah.
You could have lost the rings in the town, or he misplaced them in the town. That doesn't mean he has to go off and end his life. Just have him have a simple storyline of, hey, he misplaced the rings and he's trying to find it.
Yeah.
Plus, like, I mean, come on, simple gold bands. Like, you're telling me they couldn't find any in all of. Plus, and also, like, Rosemary's willing to give up her ring at like the drop of a hat, which you gotta love her for that.
That was very sweet of Rosemary too.
Yeah.
Also helping each other before she helps herself.
See, yes. Rosemary.
Yeah,
she's a champ.
She's the best. She gave up her wedding dress too.
Yeah,
to help Elizabeth.
Constructing her own wedding dress. Admittedly, I might be a little bit selfish and be like, you're not touching mine. So, like, I will go 50 miles to find more silk for you, but you're not touching mine. So, that's just me.
So I'm curious, what would be your like dream Hallmark movie or like dream Hallmark cast?
Oh my goodness.
If you could have like a movie with just like any of the actors that you've talked with or whatever, or like your dream Christmas movie or whatever.
That's funny you asked that, because I have thought about it, and I always thought like and I would love to pitch this to the Hallmark, so I'm saying it here.
And nobody steal her idea, you guys.
Give her credit.
A girls' night out with all the main Hallmark girls, like Danica McKellar, Candace, Lacey, Aaron, of course, like, and they're all just friends, and they all know each other, and they have like kind of like a Valentine's Day where there's so many characters and they're all somehow linked to each other, but have that in the Hallmark space.
Yeah,
all have their guys. So like you have your main crop of Hallmark women with your main crop of Hallmark men that we see, like Andrew. And
yes,
Andrew, like, so many, and like Andrew Walker as well, Brennan Elliott, like, so your main Hallmark guys that you see on a regular basis with your main Hallmark girls, have them all together in the movie.
I love this idea. I'm super excited. You could call it Galentine's Day.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Galentine's Day is kind of like Parks and Rec saved, so I don't think you can do that.
Is that? I've never watched Parks and Rec, but yeah, you could, or like something. Yeah, you could make it a Valentine's Day movie, and you could have.
There's a movie that's not like that, but like there's a movie called Mom's Night Out, not like a raunchy one. It has Sean Astin in it, so something like that. But Hallmark would be the most incredible thing that's ever happened.
It would be great. You could have like Rachel Boston on there, and like Danica. Oh, I love it.
And Opal could be somebody's kid.
All together.
Oh, Opal could be someone. Yes. Yeah. Yes. I love it.
Our kids. You see, we're making it happen.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Marissa,
I love it.
you right there. You're using your noodler.
I'll write it. Fine. I'll just write it and then pitch it down.
Yes. All right, good. Because we have a dream movie of making a Firehouse movie where you have all the hunky men, kind of like 12 Men of Christmas, but like with Hallmark.
Yeah.
And better. 2 dueling firehouses.
Yes.
So you get like twice as many men as one firehouse.
And 12 Men in Christmas, is that a Lifetime movie?
12 Men, yes.
Yeah.
But so it would be like that, but what's that?
Is that the one with the calendar?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I have seen that one.
It's so good. I love it.
Kristen Chenoweth? Yes, I have seen that one.
It's great. It's
I
one
do
of the,
like that idea, though.
yeah. So
I like that our ideas are basically like, let's just find a way to use as many actors and actresses as possible.
Well, how awesome would it be if they're all finally in one place?
yeah. Everybody would watch it. Like, I don't understand why that hesitancy. Like, everyone would watch. It would be like the hugest thing ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and we wouldn't have to have 90 Christmas movies. We just have to have our one awesome movie, you know?
I mean, we'd still need to have 90 Christmas movies.
Yeah. that could be like the end of the year or beginning of the year celebration movie.
How amazing would it be if they did like 10 movies with the individual characters, and then at the end there's like an 11th movie that brings them all together?
See, yeah.
It'd be like the event. It's like it would be really the Hallmark Cinematic Universe.
Yes.
Because they are
Yeah.
all kind of related. That would make sense. They would bring it all together. I like that, Amber. And like every movie, you have like the next person's movie, that character like appears as a cameo in the first one,
Yeah.
and then that moves them to the second one. Yeah.
I would
Or you could do like Marcus Rosner was the bad guy who was like a real estate agent in this movie who gets broken up with the girl, and then in the next movie he goes home to visit his dying father and he's sad because he got broken up with, and then he like realizes he shouldn't be in real estate and stays in this small town. It'd be so good.
And then his best friend is the leading man for the next movie.
Yes.
Oh, love it.
It's just like Pay It Forward but with like romance.
I love Pay For It. Yeah, absolutely.
I would love for them to just keep being more creative, because I am getting tired of the what I call Save the Farm plotline, where it's like, oh, the cupcake shop or the farm or the restaurant or the lodge or something is going out of business and they have to save the shop. And it's just getting boring. Like, save the theater, it's like, do you have any of those sort of tropes?
No, I completely agree. I think I mentioned it in one of my shows. It's like the whole, they're losing a business. Let's get together and try to save it. Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think the royal movies, they're great, but they are getting tired too.
We will have 5. But by the time the royal wedding comes, we'll have had at least 5. They probably ones they haven't even announced.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
This is what I was going to say about the Save the Farm movies.
Mm-hmm.
They're just not, they don't work because nobody believes that they're actually going to lose their business.
Yeah.
There's no stakes. It's like if you put, Captain America in a dangerous situation, he's going to be fine, especially if there's going to be another Captain America movie.
Yeah. Right.
So if there's no stakes, then why do we care about this store? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's kind of like it's already, predetermined that they're going to save it because we know he gets the girl in the end and they save the business at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think there's ever been a movie where they actually did lose it.
Yeah. And that would be if they did that would put a reset on my hate of those movies because then I'd be like, well, you know what? Maybe they might lose it in the end, but it'll be like better for them. It'll grow or something.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to be You've Got Mail, but that's the difference is You've Got Mail actually closed the store.
Yeah.
They actually had to learn and grow and deal with it.
I love You Got Mail. Nora Ephron is queen.
Oh, yes. We so agree.
Rachel might love Nora Ephron more than Andrew Francis.
Definitely. I definitely love it. She's my favorite. I just love her books. I love her movies. There's some bad ones, but I can still watch them because she's just so witty and so great.
Which ones do you not like?
Well, there's some Mixed Nuts, and Hanging Up, and some of the ones that nobody talks about because they're not very good.
Nancy Meyers is actually my favorite. I love Nora, but Nancy Meyers speaks to me on every single level. She has a movie for me at every point in my life. When I was a kid, when I was a teenager, when I'm an adult now, a working woman, like there's one in the future when I'm a mother. Like she literally has a movie for every point in my life. And I just love her writing.
She has some fun ones for sure. I love her Parent Trap. It's one of the better. I'm not a big fan of most Disney remakes, but the Parent Trap remake is good.
Like Parent Trap is seriously my favorite movie of all time. I literally just sent a tweet out last night with the Parent Trap gif. Like, I kid you not, I have seen that movie by more than 5,000 times, and I'm not even counting. Like, I watched that movie religiously. I can quote everything. Like, I can literally recite the whole entire film forward and backwards, and like every word, every inflection. Literally, I love that movie.
It's really good. It's a good one to love.
Yeah,
I'm trying to learn the handshake with one of the people at work. It's not working out. We're not good at it.
Oh, I had the handshake down pat. Yes.
Nice.
Sorry, that's me nerding out.
Yeah. So you're a big fan of like rom-coms in general, not just Hallmark?
Absolutely, yeah.
Do you think that rom-coms will have a comeback? Because I was really hoping that The Home with Reese Witherspoon would be kind of a comeback to that kind of romantic comedy that we haven't seen in a long time. Right. But I didn't love it.
I liked it. It was cute. And there was also Nancy Meyers' daughter, Ellie.
Yeah. It just wasn't romantic to me.
And I think the problem was that they split the attention between 3 guys instead of 1.
Yeah. Well, 4 if you include her husband. Like, I don't know. I just thought it was like a sitcom about these guys. And I'm like, that's not what I wanted to see. I wanted to see a cute romantic comedy where Reese Witherspoon falls in love.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Everybody, because like I don't know where you are actually located. I'm out here in LA, and I just see everyone just talking about Marvel movies. It's that franchise. They just want to see superheroes right now. Superhero movies are the westerns that were back in the 50s.
Yeah.
I get it. We're just in a time of cinema where everyone just wants to watch super movies, and that's even getting tiring.
Yeah. Most movies are made for 13 to 18-year-old boys. This is true.
Yeah.
They're like
that's why the movies do so well, because it's the 13, 18-year-old boys who are watching them.
Yeah. But I would love to see a comeback of the rom-com.
Yeah. Fine. I'll just write some, and then
then we'll see. We'll go see the crap out of them. We'll just sit in the movie theater and watch them over and over.
Yeah. I do write. I'm not like a consistent writer, but I used to write all the time. And I think that's the nerdy book reader in me that also likes writing. I actually wanted to be a literature major, but I went to film instead. So I do like writing, and I'm actually writing a short film right now.
Oh wow, that's cool. So you
always have ideas for rom-coms. Now, I always have to tell myself, one day I'll just write it. it.
That's good. I mean, that's one reason I do NaNoWriMo every year. I don't know if you've heard of NaNoWriMo. It's the National Novel Writing Month. And you write 50,000 word novel in 1 month, and it's such a creative, and it just gets you writing every day, which I think is the best part of it. And so I've done some sort of rom-com-y kind of things in my NaNoWriMo, and it's just a fun. The editing part of writing is horrible, but I do love that creative energy of it.
Yeah, it's great, but it's also the process too. It's really fun, how you get from point A to point B.
Yeah.
Subplots.
And you have a book podcast, correct?
So our sister network, which is also run by us, is in the same location. Book Circle Online. We do podcasting for books. So it's basically book club.
Yeah.
All it is, and we sit together, talk about a book, or mostly we have a host who interviews authors about their new book that just came out. What I do Adapted with my co-host Phil Svitek. And we talk about the book that has been adapted into a movie.
Oh.
Yeah. So we talk about the book more in depth, and then we talk about the differences from the movie to the book and why they might have changed something, or if, like, for example, we did Jungle Book. Everyone knows the Jungle Book story, but people may not realize when you actually read Jungle Book, that is just like one snippet of 7 other stories that are in that book.
Yeah, and the animated film has like almost nothing to do with the book. Like, very minimal.
The book is so different from what people know of the movies. So, like, we go more in depth with the book aspect.
Have you read and seen Ready Player One yet?
I have seen Ready Player One. I have not read the book.
Okay. I want to be interested in your thoughts on the adaptation.
Yeah, that would be an interesting one to do on your channel, because they had a pretty loose adaptation, but it was still entertaining.
Yeah, I haven't read the book. Our next book is actually the Perfect Storm.
Oh,
interesting.
We're trying to think of the obscure ones that people may know or may not know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, last week, not to date our particular show today, but last week we covered Jerry Conlon in the Guilford Four. No one knows.
No idea. Got nothing.
Knows of the movie either. I never heard of it, but it's based on a true story that happened over in London. About a man and his friends and family all were convicted guilty, even though they were innocent, and they were sentenced to life in prison. No one knows the story, but so, like, that's what our show is. Like, we're trying to cover the books that people may not know, so bring more insight and attention to them.
Gotcha.
I like that. That's cool. Instead of doing like the obvious, like Wrinkle in Time or something like that.
The mainstream ones, because we're just nerdy in that way. We're like, let's talk about the ones people aren't.
Cool. Have you done Jane Austen?
I love Jane Austen. We haven't done it on our show, but I've read a lot of her books.
Yes.
Yeah. What's your favorite book of Jane Austen's?
Oh, definitely Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah.
For
it's
sure.
The best. I love it. I love it too. And I still managed to be able to read it and be like, oh my gosh, how did she say no to Darcy? How's it all going to work out? And I read it like many times.
I've read Pride and Prejudice probably 5 times, which is a lot.
Yeah.
And like my favorite visual adaptation is, of course, the BBC one.
Yeah.
With Colin Firth.
Yeah.
Yes, he'll always be my Mr. Darcy. Always.
Yeah. But I don't know, a lot of people are really hard on the Keira Knightley one, but like I kind of feel like you can't, like, what they couldn't do the standard retelling any better. It's already been done. So they had to try some things, I think.
Right.
And I like that because she was the star, so she's the one that does more of the changing in that movie versus usually in Pride and Prejudice, it's Darcy who's at least seen to be doing more of the changing. And like in that version, Darcy, in my opinion, Darcy is just kind of shy and awkward more than like an outright jerk. And so she's the one that kind of has to change more, but I really enjoy it. But I love the Colin Firth one so much.
Yeah, I mean, it's so good. So good.
Yeah. If you like Pride and Prejudice, you would love North and South. It has some similar elements.
North and South is so great. The book is really funny, but super long, so don't do
that's
it.
That's true.
Or find the time to read it.
Yeah.
The series North and South is really good.
So good.
Yeah.
One question I wanted to ask is, why do you think that the Hallmark Channel, because they're like consistently just killing it in the ratings, why do you think it's doing so well right now, and what do you think they're doing right?
Well, I think is that it's very clean, and people like that, because when you go to the Marvel movies, when you go to any comic movies or any action movies, it's like they're dirty, they're gritty. There's a lot of cursing, there's a lot of sex, and great, yeah, fine, that's fun to watch, but it also just gets gratuitous at some point, and I think people, like, they're so simple. You can turn your brain off. Like, I watch Hallmark movies to wind down from my crazy 16-hour workday. You know, I'm like, and I get that, and I think a lot of people just watch it because it's fun to watch. It's easy to remember. It's easy to like, and it's that idealistic man that are also hard to find in life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, it's hard to find good guys like Hallmark men.
Well, and they're making movies that Hollywood's not making, and so that, you know, like there's just there's a vacuum that gets filled. So and so my last question was, if you could give Hallmark one piece of advice, of, like, we already talked about, I guess, save the farm, but what would you say? Change this, do this differently.
I would say have more diversity.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I love the movies, but very rarely do you see other people other than Caucasians, which is great. I mean, like, and even if you have, like, the Black African Americans or the Puerto Ricans or whatever Latino culture, they're always the friends. They are never the leads.
Yeah.
I've not once seen an Asian lead. The only Asian people I've seen are always the best friends. You know, it's like, have diversity. And I get Crown Media is run by Caucasian people. Totally fine. But, like, give more storylines to diverse cast members. Even Man Calls the Heart. Like, James and I are always calling out, here's their Asian in the background, and here's the Black person in the background. Not once do they get on screen time or they get a line or a story. It's like, just have diversity. Because
in defense of One Calls the Heart, though, like, in 1914, Canada, I don't know. But, like, the ones where they're set in New York or big cities, there would be people of color in the city. Like, it's unrealistic to have it be 95% white people.
Yeah,
but, like, in James and I, we absolutely do realize that. But all the movies on Hallmark, they're all in real time.
So there's no excuse for the modern ones for there not to be people. And I mean, and of course the people in Chesapeake Shores, they're all one family, but that doesn't mean that there's no people in town.
Right. And, like, the storylines where you see go to Chicago or LA, it's a melting pot of everything.
Yeah, it made me crazy in the our favorite the Mr. Christmas movie that, like, she has her, like, Black friend that she, like, Skypes with conveniently that's available to her, like, all hours of the day. You're like, you're in Chicago.
They couldn't even, like, find an actress to be on set. They had to Skype someone in. We were so mad.
And I feel you. But that's what I say. They just need diversity. If they want a realistic portrayal of just people in the world. It's not that hard.
Yeah, and our friend at the Hallmark, it's a blog about Hallmark movies, she is very adamant that she wants Jonathan Adams to be Santa Claus, and we are fully behind that. So Hallmark Channel, make Jonathan Adams Santa Claus. It'll be amazing. Everyone will be happy about it.
He was the friend in The Sweetest Christmas, if you didn't know.
Yeah, the chef in The Sweetest Christmas. He's been on and he's been on Last Man Standing and stuff.
I loved him. He was fun.
Right?
Wouldn't he be a great Santa?
He'd be perfect.
Yeah, he just got the perfect characterization for it.
Yeah, I remember Stefan and I, my co-host for Happy Hallmarkies, we were talking about how good of a friend he was in that movie.
And I think that Hallmark fans would be, like, up for it. I think they'd be excited. I think they would get right. Like, there's no reason not to do it. So why not do it?
Yeah.
So we're with you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for coming on our podcast. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
It was so much fun to get to know you better. Hopefully we can have you on again.
Yeah, and hopefully, when my Happy Hallmarkies come back, we can get you guys on.
Oh, we'd love it. That would be great.
Podcasters.
Yeah. So where can you're on all these shows, but social media and your different shows, where can people find you?
I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Serafini TV. Just my last TV. Because my last name was apparently taken up by someone who doesn't use Twitter. So it happens. But
cool.
yes, Serafini TV everywhere.
Great.
Love it.
And we'll have links to all her content in the description section, so check that out. And this weekend on Hallmark, we have another princess movie, Once Upon a Prince. And
don't say it like that. This is going to be the best one. I'm sorry. I'm so hyped about it, and I don't care what you say. And I'm going to tweet it to make sure it's good.
I have a live tweet curse that they're always disappointing when I live tweet. We do get an occasional, like I loved The Sweetest Heart. I'm like the only one in the world who loved it. And I live tweeted that. And maybe I've just been like worn down. But so many of them, I don't know, I just feel like I have very bad luck. And so, yeah, Amber will have to tweet Once Upon a Prince. I mean, I read the book, so I am looking forward to it. I loved Royal Hearts, so it's a tall measure to compare to, in my mind, at least.
That's your standard.
My favorite of the princess movies is A Crown for Christmas. I think that one's the best.
Janica is great.
Yes, she's so good, and I love
into Afterbuzz to promote that one.
Oh, really? That must have been fun.
I talked to her personally about that movie. That was pretty cool.
That's really cool. Are you looking forward to Once Upon a Prince?
Yep. I have it set to record. Definitely, I have to find time to watch it.
Yeah.
My schedule's been super busy, which is no excuse. I get that, but I do schedule time to watch my home movies.
Well, and this week for the podcast, we're going to be covering the non-royal movies. So Love Once and Always, Home by Spring, and The Sweetest Heart. So that should be really fun. And then we're also going to look at a Hallmark Movies Now movie called August Creek. So there'll be 4 movies that we'll talk about on Wednesday. So you want to check that out. And then we have our When Calls the Heart recap, which will be on Thursday with Ruth Hill. So lots of fun stuff coming up on the podcast and on Hallmark Channel this week. So Amber, where can people find you?
As always, I'm at Amber Brainwaves on Twitter, and that's it.
Awesome. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews on iTunes and YouTube. I have my review for Ready Player One up, and you can check that out. And I also had my review of Easter Parade, which is delightful and wonderful, that posted on Easter. So check that out over on my channel. And thanks again so much, Marissa. We really had a ball talking with you.
Yeah, thank you so much. This was so fun.
We'll have to do it again soon.
It's great to talk about this because my show has such a structured format, and so that talked and covered a lot of things. I love that. It was fun.
We're pretty loosey goosey on the podcast.
Well, we'll definitely have to get together again soon. And thanks everybody for listening. And let us know your comments, what you think, what advice you would give to Hallmark. Put in the comment section or let us know on Twitter. And thanks so much. And we will talk to you all later. Bye.
Bye.